let's talk about some bands that changed their sound for the better, in my opinion. Now, this may trigger a lot of people, because a lot of people will probably say the complete fucking opposite, and probably call me a pink panty-wearing poser, but I don't give a fuck. This is what I like, these are the bands I like, and this is the sound change that I've enjoyed. I prefer the newer sound to the older sound, so stick it up your ass. So, before I get started with my list, let me know down below bands that have changed their sound for the better. What bands have changed their sound for the better? Let me know, and let's get started with my list. So first up on the list, probably the one that people will be like, fucking poser! Carcass. I think Carcass is much better now. I do. Ever since Heartwork, well, necroticism, I guess, but yeah, same necroticism. Necroticism onwards, really fucking enjoyed the work. Swan Song was a bit of a dip, but after that, I love Torn Arteries. That's the melodies in that, so serene. And Surgical Steel is my favourite Carcass album, and Heartwork's probably second, or Torn Arteries is second. I don't know. I love the newer Carcass sound. It's way more melodic. The melodies are just so good. I know a lot of people would prefer the death grind sound of the first two albums, but I don't like grind. You know I don't like grind, so that's not really for me. So I don't really like those two albums. The second album's okay, but it's not albums I go back to ever. But Necroticism onwards, pretty enjoyable. And especially Heartwork onwards is just, even better. That's when I think they perfected their sound, and Carcass went from to like, holy shit, this band is fantastic. And I love Torn Arteries. I've said that like 3 times already, but what can I say? It's a fantastic fucking record. But again, if you disagree, good. Tell me in the comments below why. But yeah, Carcass is the first band where I prefer the newer sound. Next up, ooh, this is going to be an interesting one. Amorphis. Amorphis is a band where I prefer the newer sound. Now, don't get me wrong, this one is not like Carcass. I really like Tales from a Thousand Lakes, and I prefer Carillion Isthmus, the very first, the debut by Amorphis. Fantastic records. Elegy, fantastic. Not a big fan of Tunella, the more folky one. That was okay to me, probably the worst one they did. But everything after that, oh boy, this is when Amorphis came into their stride. When Tommy was on vocals, just blew up. Silent Waters is a masterful album, probably my second favourite. Skyforger is my favourite. The melody, Silver Bride, come on, the vocals, amazing. Queen of Time, come on, the B, like, everything after. I think when Tommy joined, everything after has been pretty magical. Now, Under the Red Cloud, I love the newer Amorphous sound. Again, it's more melodic. It's more into that kind of Insomnium-esque kind of melodies rather than the death metal side of the first two, which I still enjoy. Again, I enjoy most Amorphis albums, but I much prefer the newer Amorphis. What can I say? I love his vocals, and I hope they continue making great albums, just like Halo from last year, which was on my end of the year list, because I liked it that fucking much. Good job. So, let's talk about Behemoth. That's correct. Behemoth, I love my black metal. It's my favourite genre of all time, so of course I like From the Pagan Vastlands. Of course I like Sventif, Storming Near the Baltic, and Grom, which is really fucking fantastic album. Love all those albums. But, I prefer the more black and death side of Behemoth. So this is more of the mid-era of Behemoth, not the newest stuff, but the mid stuff, because they've had like 3 different sound changes. But I think albums like The Apostasy, Zozkia Cultis, Evangelion, and my favourite, which I've forgotten, Demigod, that's my favourite era of Behemoth. They changed the sound from more traditional black metal to this more black and death Belphegor type stuff, which I fucking love. It's pummeling. Like, Demigod's one of the heaviest albums I've ever fucking heard. And as some people say, shut the fuck up. But it is. Slave Shall Serve. You heard that live? Crushing. And I've seen fucking Deicide live. I've seen Obituary live. Slave Shall Serve kicks the shit out of them. It just fucking does. Like, heavy as all balls. Love it. Dionysus, like, all hail Dionysus! So fun. I love the Satanist as well. But then the newer stuff are getting too a bit melodramatic. Still enjoy it. But for me, the sound change to that mid-era is just, perfection. Love me some heavy Behemoth. Love me some just sheer ferocity. Fucking great. Next up, we got a double whammy for you. So first up is At the Gates. That's right. I do enjoy most At the Gates albums, but I feel like the newer stuff for me works a bit more. I like The Red in the Sky Is Ours, Terminal Spirit Disease. These are all good. Slaughter of the Soul is the classic, but it doesn't do much for me. But, you know, from after that album onwards, I love them. You know, I love the more moody, melancholic, again, similar sound to like Insomnium or Enslaved. Like, this is the sound that appeals to me. You know, that's the sound that appeals to me. The more moody kind of sound, Insomnium, Swallow the Sun, stuff like that. And they kind of change their sound to become like that. To Drink from the Night itself, especially. Love that album. People shit on that album for being boring. I don't know. It's something about the album, the hooks hit, the mood of the album, like the just sound of the album is perfect to me. Very Catatonia kind of esque. Love that album. Love every album since my favourite one, which I've fucking forgotten. Okay, at War of Reality, I forgot my fucking favourite album. Idiot Questy. Yeah, at War of Reality onwards is just my favourite period of At the Gates. Moody, melancholic, beautiful melodies, great screaming as well. Love it. At the Gates, newer stuff. Fantastic. And of course, let's talk about Dark Tranquility. Now, Dark Tranquility has had 3 different sound changes. The early stuff, more melodic death metal, which I really enjoy. The Gallery, Sky Dancer, fantastic fucking albums. Not going to deny that, fantastic. Then they changed into a more metalcore / melodic death style, or Damage Done and shit like that, which I'm not as big into. I know some people have it top. I know Metal Trenches loves this era more. For me, it doesn't do much for me. But then they changed into a more, again, like At the Gates, and again, like all these other bands, into a more moodier direction and started incorporating clean singing. Like, from Fiction onwards is my favourite period. Fiction onwards, songs like Forward Momentum, oh my god. Beautiful. Love them when they incorporate the clean singing in with the screams. And in fact, I think I like the clean singing more. Love the newest album, Moment. Has so many beautiful sections in. Really does remind me of that kind of like Insomnium, Enslaved style. And yeah, Dark Tranquility. I really love the new Dark Tranquility. What can I say? Taste, you know? There's probably a, you can probably see a pattern with all these, you know? Carcass, At the Gates, Dark Tranquility, they're all kind of becoming more mellow, and I like them for that. But hey, it's just my taste. I was almost, the list is over, but I was almost going to say Enslaved. But I didn't, because I love every single Enslaved album equally. Like, Viking Laveldi is one of my favourites, but so is Below the Lights, and so is Retir. And so is Issa. Like, they're all fucking great. So I don't like one more than the other for Enslaved. I like them all fucking equally. You know, I like the black metal stuff, I like the transitional stuff, Maradrim, more proggy stuff. Enslaved just can't do any fucking wrong, so I'm not going to pick them for this list. But those are just the bands that change their sound for the better for me. Let me know down below if you agree with my list. Pop your own down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.